Good evening and welcome to Blood on the Severn, a Vampire the Masquerade Chronicle set in Bristol, England in the year 2017. With me tonight,
Bex playing Nandazal of the Ministry.
Peter playing Janusz Kroll of Clan Jimitsu.
Rob playing Dermot Bryan of Clan Malkavian.
Alice playing Matilda Wells of Clan Ventru.
So apologies for the lack of Hubert appropriate intro recap this week. It is absolutely and entirely my fault. I am in charge of writing the recap and send it into Sam so he can do the recording very professionally with Mitch. He always gives it to time. Mitch always does the overlay. I failed to deliver a script this week. Was a very busy week, so my apologies. I will try to not have this happen again. But a brief recap of the interesting and important stuff that happened last week. The Coterie went to meet Teach at the SS Great Britain, where they had a conversation, and Teach let them know that they have been assigned as the multi-faction Coterie that will be investigating the murders of both Gareth and Scott of Tarkis and Anars, respectively. There were several reasons for this, but it was agreed that given the need to keep things slightly on the quiet, the mission of the Coterie, sort of the tasking of the Coterie, would not be sort of broadcasted to everybody, and the Coterie would be reporting to Teach. He would be providing support at with the personal benefit of getting sort of an inside track on the info and, of course, first dibs on everything that they find. He also had a small chat with Nangisel about why on earth did he have to find about the Society of Leopold's attack on the Lockley's domain via the Anarchs. This is a conversation in which he stressed the importance of communication regarding this within the faction, and for that, Nangisel gained stains. There was a remorse check due at the end of last session. We did that off camera, and Nangisel passed her remorse check, so there was a little bit of guilt there. The Coterie went to Janice's Haven, and this being the first visit of Dermot there, he saw the spirits that haunted the place, of course under a very personal light. But he was reassured that those were the spirits of those who had been killed there and part of Janice's family. So, after being comforted, they went inside and had a conversation about what is it that they were going to do, plans about the future, ideas, things. There were also conversations between Matilda and Dermot where they were catching up, and eventually they met at the tobacco factory with some of Matilda's friends from the Anarchs and, well, the Camarilla as well, where Dermot had a good night of interacting with other kindred, and there were talks about the possibility of DJ O'Shea being the one making, putting up the music on a sort of like a campaign rally for Matilda Wells, under the very eager eyes of both Squid and Murray, who happens to be a DJ O'Shea fan. There was also a very tense game of chess between Janice and Father Michael, where Janice prodded as to the past of his, now frenemy, and where he determined that Father Michael was there in the seminar and in Bristol during the time of the first attack in the 70s. He held himself together quite well, even though he lost the game of chess because he was distracted by murderous thoughts. Nangisel went to have a conversation with her father, and having realized that Dermot could see spirits, asked him to join her. Even though Dermot could see some spirits around the dogs, Nangisel's father's spirit was not there. And he explained to her that not everyone stays. Actually, very few stay after they die. And the majority of those who do pass on. Nangisel felt a little void at the notion of that her father's spirit might not be around. It felt like a second loss. So she had a moment to herself where she talked to her father and bid him farewell. The night ended with Nangisel going out on a party, on a revel with Dermot, indulging in everything, the high and low, that the Knights of Bristol can offer. Letting music and many psychoactive drugs in the bloodstreams of those they fed upon to the work for them. And that's where we left the session. The following day comes. It would be time for everyone to do a rouse check. I got you, Bex. For a new dawn and dusk have come and gone. Okay, so we have Janice and Matilda being successful in the rouse check, so their hunger does not increase. And we have Nangisel. Well, we're waiting for roll 22. Oh, there you go. All of them came. Nangisel goes hungrier. So her hunger goes from 1 to 2. She fed the night before in this party together with Dermot. So both of you are at hunger 2. What are your hunger levels, Matilda and Janish?
2.
2 as well.
This is the 2. Let's start with Nangisel. I would have assumed at the end of the evening you would have needed a place to go back to.
I mean, if I couldn't get back to Janish's place, then yeah, I would have probably tried to go to my old place because I'm not a million miles away.
Fine. So you wake up there.
Okay.
Your clothes stink of various things and you don't know what they are. But you've smelled them in the past when you have a good night.
Okay.
You're sore. I'm sorry.
I don't live here anymore, do I? Do I not live here?
You do live here from time. This is one of your havens. This is a secure place for you to be.
So
But this is a permanent residence right now of Rusty.
Okay. Well, I'll change my clothes very slowly and very quietly. Like, I don't want any loud noises or anything of that nature. My intention is then to travel to probably to Janosch's place. But I don't. So I will be. I don't know if Rusty's up and about, but if he's up and about, then I will be, I guess, moving around in a very ginger fashion, I guess.
Well, you get to see all the servants and terminals. He is starting to turn this place, given your prolonged absences, into sort of a high-tech place. There's a lot of lights, blinking a lot of them, so you don't stare at them for long. At some point, he sort of sees you and acknowledges you, and you realize that he's somewhat in a conference call or something, and he just waves at you.
I'll start turning the lights off that are too bright.
Yeah. But he seems to be busy. So once you're ready, are you going on foot or are you calling Lug?
I'll call. I'll probably call Lug to drive me up there.
Okay.
Unless we've agreed to meet somewhere else, but I don't think we had agreed to meet anywhere.
You had not agreed. So you get in touch with him. You call him. He of course is a little concerned because he hadn't heard from you. You completely went off the grid.
Okay. So I'll say to him, can you get here and pick me up? take me up Lockleys.
Yeah, sure. Where you are? Where are you?
Good.
Where are you at?
Down the rocks railway.
Okay. I know.
Why are you shouting?
What? Give me 15.
Right, alright. Right.
And yeah, around 15 minutes later, he shows up.
Okay.
You get into the car.
Yep.
Something tells you put on the seatbelt. And that sort of, like, you do it not for safety, but to tie you to the seat. So you're moving less about, bouncing less.
I'll say. Jesus Christ, lug. What's the suspension on this car like? You need to get it replaced. My ass is moving around in this seat.
Wait. You alright?
What do you mean I'm alright? Of course I'm alright, aren't I?
Well, you look like you opened a box.
Well, last time me and you opened the box, it didn't go so well, did it? So how fucking stupid would I have to be to do that again?
Well, I don't know, but I'm looking at you in, by the looks of it.
Just drive the bloody car, right?
He slows down and he takes you there. He turns on the air conditioning and you put it just to so it blasts in your face and you can sort of, even though you don't need to breathe,
Right.
it's the refreshing air. And eventually you made it to Janus's place. Janus, of course, during this time of the evening has been making preparations and having conversations with the faithful.
I'll thank Lug and then I'll wander in to the house. I'm probably aiming for my bedroom so I can have a bit of a lie down. So I'll just I don't know where various people are, but that's the kind of that's the route I'll be taking. But if I see Janusz, then I'll stop to talk to him.
Not initially on your way up. Evelina does follow you because she sees you a little off. She says, are you alright? Do you need me to call Janusz?
Oh, sure. Yeah, why not?
I'll tell him to look for you in your room.
I need to lie down, so I'll be in my room.
Yes. Need help getting there?
What? No, I can walk, can't I?
Sure.
I'll just wander on down the thing, and then when I find somewhere like when I get there, I'll lie down so the room stops spinning.
Excellent. With you lay down on bed on your back.
Yeah.
With one leg outside of the bed, knee bent, your foot firmly planted on the floor, and that anchors your whole world. And nothing spins anymore. Janusz.
Stay like this.
Yeah, Janusz. Evelina eventually gets to you. Not long after, he informs you that Nangisel is back, and she looks a bit rough.
Rough.
As in when people have been drinking too much during the night. The day after, when they... So I don't know.
She looks as if she has been celebrating.
Well, I don't know. If she was, she's just paying the consequences now.
And she is in need of assistance?
Well, I don't know. I suppose so. I asked her if I should mention this to you, and she said yes, so...
Well then, if she wished me to know, she must wish to speak with me. Thank you, Evelina.
I'll take care of things here for you.
Good.
And that's what she does.
So I'll make my way over to Nandazal's room, and I will tap on the door.
You hear a wrecking ball trying to bash down through the door of your room.
Oh!
Nandazal?
Your voice down. Why are you trying to bash the door down?
May I come in, Anderson?
Aren't you already in?
No, I'm standing outside your door.
Oh, come on. But be quiet.
So I'll go in through the door, and I will.
I'll be as was.
I guess he will take a moment to look at the sort of odd position that she's in. Is there something I should be aware of, Anderson?
Probably. Last night was interesting. Was that a word? Anyways, last night I gave my old man a send off. Now it's gone for good. Not coming back. Didn't realise. I didn't realise all the things he needed to say to him before he was gone.
And have you said those things?
Things can't remember. Dermot said it didn't matter because wherever he was going to hear.
He said that?
Right, because we went down the docks to talk to him, you know? Talk to him. And he weren't there, so that's what he was telling me is he's gone on, right? But it was weird though because I wasn't ready for that.
You weren't ready?
For him to be gone. He's always been there, right? Ever since he's died, he's always been there, and now he's not there.
But perhaps you are ready.
What do you mean?
Not necessarily to say goodbye to him, though I assume you must be, for that was your purpose. But you, when we met, spoke of your connection to the water and to him.
Because that's where he was too.
And you have rediscovered that connection for yourself, something that you had lost.
Well, yeah.
And you've spoken to me of having found a path, having found a connection, a way forward for yourself.
That's why I went to tell him. I didn't think he wouldn't be there to hear it, did I?
Perhaps that is why he wasn't there.
What, you mean he's happy with what I've done, like?
I mean that perhaps he no longer needs to watch over you now. You do not need a protector or a guardian spirit anymore. You have found your own way.
I don't want him gone though, do I? I mean, I didn't think when I turned up there that he wouldn't be there. And then anyways, after I said my bit, Dermot said we should go celebrate him, his life. That's what we did. Now my fucking head hurts. And the room is spinning. And there was like 3 or something.
Interesting. It's not often that those in our situation find themselves in your situation. Takes a certain degree of effort, I imagine.
Well, I don't know. I hadn't had this happen to me before, but then I suppose I weren't paying too much attention to what I was eating. Or what. Didn't seem to bother Dermot mine. He was alright about it.
Was he eating the same thing you were eating?
Sure, I think so. Don't know.
You think so?
I can't remember, Jan. It was a long bloody time ago, wasn't it? A lot happened since then.
Well, might I suggest in future you pay more attention? If you cannot remember what you said to your father, that does not seem a good state of affairs to me. You said there were important things to say. Those things surely had meaning. Surely you know what you said.
Are you going to get off my case or what? I gotta get out of here. No. I don't remember it in this fucking minute, right? That doesn't mean it didn't have any meaning. You bloody well know that.
All I know, Nan Giselle, is that you are not yourself. Because you would not normally behave like this. And I was asked to come and speak with you.
It wasn't like you said. So, well, I'll remember some point when I'm feeling better. I'll remember all the things I said.
But you remember the feel of it. You remember the meaning of it in your soul, if not the words.
It was a long night. Just because I can't recall every fucking thing what happened doesn't mean I don't know about it.
I'm not asking if you recall every little thing. I'm asking if you recall the sense of it. That's
more
all.
or less, all right?
You don't need me to tell you any more on this matter. You have learnt enough with me. You will know for yourself if this is satisfactory. You have had other experiences which happened much longer ago, and you know that they were meaningful. So I will not lecture any further on it. But when you are recovered, there are things I wish to speak to you about. Important things. Things we must do.
My dad's an important thing.
Yes. Yes. Fathers and those who are like fathers to us are important. And we must attend to them, even if they have strayed. And he will turn and leave, I think, at that point.
I will stay in my bed till the room stops spinning.
Okay, fair enough. Meanwhile, somewhere else in the city, someone is at his peak. Dermot probably still riding a high from the day before. Maybe a little hungry. Maybe needs a little bit more. You wake
I think
Go on.
I think Dermot will probably be up as early as possible and down to the new HQ.
You check your phone, and you have a message from Kat Gomez saying, "This is weird. I found something, but it makes no sense. Want to meet?"
Sure. Give me a couple of hours, I'll be there.
Okay, she takes a while to reply. Her message was sent in the afternoon. And she says, "Well, we can meet outside. Maybe have a coffee or something."
Sounds good.
What are you doing in the meantime? Are you just going to the HQ? Or are you?
No, he's getting there. He's buzzing, and he's absolutely just gonna sort of lock it down. Not actually lock it down, but as far as he's concerned, lock it down and just get some work done. Okay. He's got a few ideas bouncing around his head, a couple of things that were mentioned previously, so he's gonna start properly shoving all the music on as loud as possible across the HQ, and then just mixing, coding, putting stuff together.
Okay.
Yeah. Making some mashups, I think, is probably the first thing in his mind.
Okay, that's good. It's about maybe 6:30 when you go to bed. Sorry, when you wake up, because it's November. It's getting darker earlier. So you're going to meet with her around 8. After a full-on session of a lot, but nothing. As in, you tried to place as many ideas as you could, but at some point you were like, oh, it's been 2 hours, now I need to leave,
Yeah.
So you get there. You agree to meet near the triangle and see where that takes you. There are a few places. She was thinking about going maybe to Hide and Co., one of the secret bars that is nearby. Quiet, nice, private. There will be plenty of places where you can sit and not being overheard. And the music is not super loud that you cannot talk, but it's loud enough for people not to eavesdrop. And they tend to do decent. According to in Dermot's opinion, they're not bad. They have their moments. So she's going to be there by the time you arrive. She's already asked for a cocktail.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey. Oh, look who's here. She moves stuff around. Her purse, her coat, and things. She says, like, where have you heard this? This is kind of a weird request,
Yeah, it's just a friend of mine was into some of this stuff, and just a weird out of the blue thing, really. So I was just I quiz you about a whole lot of other things, I suppose. So I thought maybe something different. This just came up in conversation, let's put it that way, and there was a point of contention, and I just kind of want to sort it out.
Okay. Well, she puts fixes her glasses in her face, and starts reading. It's like, well, what I found here. It's like, well, the name you gave me, Kostroma, it's just a city in Russia. But I also found that it is part of Slavic traditions. So this is someone who's...
What the hell is Slavic?
The to Slavic region. Oh, come on, Dermot.
You know, I'm not all switched on all this kind of like continental stuff.
Well, it's not supercontinental stuff. It's just the Slavic region is all that area around the Balkan Peninsula. Does that ring a bell?
Like Eastern Europe or something.
Let's say yes and insult a lot of people that are not listening to us, okay?
Fair enough. Fair enough.
So it seems that, of course, these are all old religions that are around many countries, what are many countries today, but these are all like an old religion, a pagan religion, predating Christianity. And apparently Kostroma was sort of one of four aspects of fertility in a way. Okay, so the story goes that Kostroma was a goddess, and she was a twin of Kupalo, or something like that. And basically, they were born on the summer solstice, which then means that it's a big deal for them, you know? Mm. When I say that they were one of... They're like fourfold aspects of fertility, it's because Kostroma is sort of like the goddess of spring.
Right, I was going to say, why do you need 4 gods of fertility? Surely one would be enough.
Well, because probably you need a god of fertility for each season. I don't know. You're asking the wrong person here. I didn't.
No, okay, fair enough, you know.
So I do know that, for example, the twin brother, Kupalo, was the god of summer and the summer solstice. And the god of fertility, so probably it's a god of fertility, also a god of fertility during the summer. So if Kostroma is the goddess of spring and Kupalo is the god of summer, the other two are sort of like aspects that are also part of the religion.
Right, so Kostroma and
Kupalo. That's what I found written here.
Okay.
Oh, well, it can be called in many names. These are people around the area, the regions. They speak different languages. Some of them. So I have found actually Kupala, Kupalo, Ivan Kupalo. The other two aspects of fertility, I think, are called Lada or Lado, depending on who you are asking, and Yarila or Yarilo. But the important thing is these two, because Kupalo and Kostroma were the son and daughter, the twins, of course, of Simargl, which is a god of fire, and Kupalnitsa, the goddess of night. So sort of like they were born out of the night and day.
Oh, right, okay, yeah, fire in that sense. I see.
And then they were separated. And each one of them was basically left to their own devices. There is a long myth. I'm not going to read it. It's about...
No, I get that. I mean, you were saying earlier that it was worshipped by pagans and the like, right?
Yes.
I mean, I've watched a lot of the old films and such, you know, there was all those kind of things with them goat heads on the top and all. They're not a bunch of devil worshippers, are they now?
No, it's not the devil. It's just old gods that were... These are old religions, basically. They are a mix of both religion and folklore, if that makes sense.
I see. Religion and folklore. And all this fertility, it's not like a hippie commune kind of thing then?
No, that's just one aspect of those two, well, 4 gods, depending on how you're making the
Right, so they do other things as well, not just fertility.
Yes, there are many other... That's the thing when you have... this is a pantheon. That's the word to describe it. You know, the Greeks had plenty of gods for pretty much everything. This is
Yeah,
the
yeah.
same. So, for example,
So it's the same. They have gods for everything.
yeah, like literally, there was a god that made a decision about this Kupalo person, Chernobog, who was the god of bad fate, not just fate in general. There's like good fate and bad fate, and this one just decided that Kupalo should be taken sort of to the afterlife or the afterworld. I don't know. It's a really weird story. But they have the gods for goodness or judges or well, one very important one here is Perun, which is the thunder, and he's seen like a father.
See?
So when you have gods for everything, this is very primitive stuff, Dermot. They had gods for the heaven. They tried to explain natural phenomena through their religion and through their folklore.
Okay, I think I get it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I think we can sort out our point of contention. Thanks for looking into it. I know it's not your specialty and everything, but it's appreciated.
No, but it was a
I'd
really
like to show you
interesting
something
video.
interesting occasionally.
Sorry?
I'd like to show you something interesting occasionally, like,
Yeah.
you know, after everything you do for me.
Oh, sure. What do you have in mind?
No, just, you know, I thought you might find this interesting, you know.
This very, because I was not aware that there is sort of like the Slavic native faith is sort of like a modern neo-paganism. It's a modern, and it's followed. So there is a thing called the Kupala Day or the Kupala Night, and there are things that they are being celebrated. A lot of people that do them because they want to reconnect with their roots and their heritage more than the actual faith, but it's still faith, and it's
Fair enough.
still very there. So that's why I was like, I said this is very weird, and I know I said it, but it's because I wouldn't have expected to find someone here in Bristol that would follow that. I don't know if that makes sense. As in, this seems like people who tend
It's
to
Bristol. There's all kinds of people here.
Yeah.
They all love all kinds of different things.
Yeah, but this religion, Dermot, and this is where the weird aspect comes in.
Yeah.
They are very closely tied to their land. They believe their land is holy.
Right? So they don't normally move away from it.
No, unless a piece of their land was somewhere. Like, if they consider a piece of land holy, it's because it's connected to these pantheon of gods, or at least one of them, in one way or another. And
Gotcha. That's really interesting.
so, why would they be here in Bristol? There is nothing. Like, there are people who practice the British witchcraft. And they...
Well, I'm sorry, Cap, but there's these things called airplanes, you see. And what they do is they transport people from one country to another.
She smacks you in the arm. Yes, but people who practice like neo-pagan British witchcraft and stuff, they have some rituals and they have some
Well, you know, you
celebrations,
go back,
and they
there's
can
them,
go. They can
you
go
know,
into the
the-
forest, but these Slavic neo-pagans that these groups that worship these people, they don't go to just any forest to worship their gods. They go to the native forests of the Balkans or the region.
Yeah.
They don't just put reeds.
Why is their
in the
forest so different to our forest? I mean, you know,
Because
look,
that
I was
is
going to say the Roman Catholics. They went all over the world and tried to spread their religion, right? And you know, it's sometimes if you can get people to do things in the funniest of places, it works for them.
it's not
So
the way
maybe
of
they're
the
trying to
Slavs.
spread some of it over here and kind like get us to use our forests in the same way.
Yeah, but it's not the way of the Slavs. Their gods are tied to their birthplace. When they go
Right.
and travel to a foreign land, unless there is the essence of a god tied to the place they are residing, they will see that place as unholy, or at the very least, lacking of the holiness that their land inherently has. The protection, the love, and the guidance of those
Interesting.
gods.
I suppose it depends on what makes the ground holy.
Well, yeah, Well, I guess, but probably there's a way of sanctify it. I don't know. I thought it was very interesting. That's what I'm saying. But it's at the same time fairly weird.
Well, fair enough. It's weird. The other day, I thought I saw a puka too.
She laughs. It's like, okay. So was it a good puka or a bad puka? Was
I
it?
don't know yet, but I'm working on it.
Okay. When you say you saw a puka, did you see him as a black horse, or did you see him as something else?
He's a black horse. Yeah, definitely. Looking right at me, giving me the weird side eye. You know how they do that.
She reaches out and holds your hand and says, "You have to stop hanging out with those university kids that give you that stuff. Stop smoking it." Okay? And she like squeezes your hand, but it's more like of a friendly thing. But yes,
Well,
maybe it was trying to warn you of something, or maybe it was trying to show you something. Now, for what? Pukas, you see now, they are my specialty.
well, yeah, I know. So, suppose I should keep an eye out and see if it seems to be a good or a bad thing. Then,
Yes, please.
right?
And then
If I spot it, I'll let you know where it is, so you can go hunting or some such, right?
I've never been able to see one, and I'm not really sure I want to see one. There are very few things from mythology that I would like to see. None of it is completely innocent or pure or good. There's very, very few, and a lot of the other nasty stuff just looks like it. I don't know. It's weird.
Fair enough.
The conversation naturally gravitates around other things. Eventually, you give her like passes or something for a presentation on DJ O'Shea. Now, moving on the same evening, Matilda Wells. You wake up, you were not partying, and you're not feeling rough.
Feeling great.
You're feeling great. But the election is coming. It's soon. I mean, if we were to break the fourth wall, I would say next episode. Ooh. But it is really close. It is within the next week and a half.
Yeah.
And this is where you do the last push. This is where you need to get things up and running.
Yeah.
Because it is known that kindred tend to think, especially anarchs, tend to think that someone has to fix a problem, but not very many think that voting is the way to solve a problem. They will actively try to be themselves the person who does the change in the moment or let it rest. So not a lot of people show to the voting polls. Now, this election, though, has everybody really keen on going for it. Because this is the first time they're going to see if there is actually any change or if something needs to be addressed. There is also this funny thing that when you receive the sort of the listing of number of votes that you will be getting on your area, you'll be getting the votes of course, the residents of the BS3 area. The number is larger than you expected. Not by much, but it's bigger. And there are some numbers you do not recognize, or worse, you do recognize, but it's non-anarch.
Okay.
So it turns out it has been extended to anyone that has been given a domain or a permission to reside there.
Oh, so it doesn't
Registered,
necessarily.
yeah,
Okay.
registered under the library by the cartographer as someone that is residing anywhere in what the BS3 area is, even if they own a semi-detached home with a back garden that belongs to the autarkies because it's their personal domain. Doesn't matter. They're still in the BS3 area, and whatever decisions are made by whomever is the representative will affect them. Therefore, they have voting rights.
Is
Sorry?
it still predominantly anarch, or like the other
Predominantly
numbers Is it more Artakis or more Camarilla? Like
This
the
is
other one?
predominantly Anarch, because the vast majority of the people that live in the area is Anarch. Also, only Anarchs can vote for the representatives of neighboring Anarch domains.
Yeah.
So if you live in one area, you can choose who are the Anarch representatives of your area, and who do you want them to be for the neighboring areas. And people try to find those sort of like coalitions and partnerships.
Yeah.
But only the Anarchs have that privilege. The other factions only vote there in two special cases. Case number one, the one I already explained. If you're not an Anarch but reside in an area, you get to vote only for the representative of your area, and that's it, if you wish to do so. And also, in Anarch areas that have contested or other factions' territories neighboring them, one person of that faction casts a vote.
Okay.
In the case of the Camarilla, the main person that holds that domain, or someone appointed by the prince, will vote, because you will have relationships with neighboring Autarkies or Camarilla. They get to have a say. Okay?
Yeah.
So therefore, even though there's probably 40 or 50 Anarchs like actively engaged in this, the numbers in the polls, when you consider that people are voting multiple times and then you have other factions, these are hundreds of votes that are being cast. Hundreds.
Cool.
And you don't like the look of how many Camarilla are around.
Yeah.
Like neighboring and inside. Because they immediately, like the few numbers that you see immediately
It's like
undermine the base that you have with your friends. It's like, okay, there are as many Camarillas as close friends. That's gone, right?
Okay. So she'll have a look at the sort of the numbers and whatever sort of polling has been done beforehand, and probably just because she's going to go to the HQ and try and get some work done there, just to be in a different kind of space. Maybe just feel a bit more productive than if she was like at home necessarily, or like working. So yeah, I think she'll go back. She'll go to the HQ up in Lockleys, bring her laptop, bring some papers, and try and get on with some stuff.
Okay. When you reach there, you see the lights of the studio. They're on, but it's basically like on air, like recording or whatever. So you imagine it's Dermot. A few hours later, those lights are off, and you feel Dermot's car leave. And since they're separate, it's as when you hear your neighbor leaving.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, Dermot just went home. Okay. The information is very poor. This is the first actual vote that happened after a period of peace. The previous vote was basically a joke. The shadow, what they call the wars in shadows had been going on for a few weeks or months after the death of Prince William and the death of the Master of Trade Giacomo and the comeback that Roger made. So very few people threw their name in the hats, to be representatives. At least two of them got it in the neck, as in literally got killed, final death, while they were running because they stuck their head out a little too much. Someone had it for them, like had it in for them, and when they became more visible, they were attacked. So information about polling demographics is very difficult to come by.
Attacked by other people? Like, do we know who attacked them?
Well, yeah. Half of the time was Anarchs themselves. Other times were Camarilla as payback for people that they have murdered in the those wars in shadows are the aftermath of having the basis of power of all three factions being shaken to the core. When you get rid of a Primogen, a Master of Trade, and you bring back a new baron, and the new accords need to be signed and have not been signed. It was a lawless time. People who had a beef with anyone on any faction went to town on it.
Okay.
That's why Bristol now has a little healthier population of kindred than it used to do. Embraces were allowed, and then people from London have been allowed. So,
okay, right, all right. Well, in this time, sort of probably, given the conversation they had before about having some kind of function and motion, we'll try and put together a guest list that is robust, but is also not going to offend anyone by not inviting them. Try a very carefully, politically considered guest list.
Okay. Are you going to do this in the BS3 area, as in the tobacco factory, or are you going to try and do something in motion?
I think I said motion, but then I might probably just...
Tobacco factory, right?
Yeah. So, yeah.
Matilda, I mean,
let's just do the tobacco factory.
Yeah.
Speaks about motion. She's like, good venue. Actually, no.
Like you're trying to figure out, demographics and stuff, and you go over records and you see names that are being crossed, struck down, and you go like, struck out, why is this? Oh, got killed the moment he ran for election. Oh, because he had killed this other person, so their sire killed them. Oh, okay. Stick in their head is not great. So let's do a party in motion in the middle of Camelot territory. No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Change your mind about that. Dermot arrives a few hours later, closer to midnight.
Right.
And well, Dermot, you see lights inside in the living room in the HQ, not in the studio.
As you come in, I think you said.
There she is, Matilda, with her laptop, papers, notebooks, notepads.
There's a lot of papers that have been like scrunched up on the floor.
Yeah. You're muted. Sorry.
I think you muted, Rob.
So I see you making yourself at home.
Yeah, sorry. So she looks around and realizes the mess that she's made. Sorry. I'll clean it up.
Oh, no, it's fine. You leave it. It's fine.
Yeah,
Just,
it's needed to get in a bit of a neutral space, if that's all right.
Sometimes it's not part of the process. You got to work your way, find your way to getting what you need to be.
Yeah, so just a different set of walls is nice every once in a while. Where have you been?
Out to meet a friend.
Oh,
I was here working earlier, but I didn't see you arrive.
No, I was here. Maybe you were in the zone.
Yes, very much so.
Can I?
The music.
Sorry, Carlos. Does he still look like he's a little bit like buzzing?
He is. He does, but
Okay.
completely with it.
Yeah.
But yes, he's buzzing.
Okay.
Probably the first time you met him, actually looking almost directly like at you in the eyes.
Okay. All right. Sorry. What did you say?
Yeah. Did you want to talk?
Yeah. No. I feel like we press ganged you at the tobacco factory a little bit.
No. I'm always up for this kind of thing. You got a good group of good bunch there.
Yeah, they're nice. They're good kids. They're very enthusiastic. Lucky to have them.
Kind of down to you what you want, really. I know you mentioned a couple of things, but
yeah, I was thinking motion, and then I actually, thought about it for more than 1 second and realised that's probably a bad idea. So maybe tobacco factory. Tobacco factory. I mean, it was nice the other day.
Hey, no problem. We can get some equipment in and make it a little bit more jazzy.
Yeah, a bit some lights. I don't know anything about this kind of stuff. Carl used to know. I helped him a bit with lights and whatever, but I never really got the hang of it.
It's more than just lights,
Yeah. It's sound as well.
Sound and lights, I know.
And lights. Sensory overload.
But no, it'll be fine. I'll get all the equipment sorted and everything else. And you were mentioning something about a band.
Yeah, if there's anyone I mean, anything kind of not crazy techno, I suppose, but something not like really chilled out either. In the middle.
It depends what you want. There's some good groups around, some good tribute acts as well. If you want something that really harkens back to those 80s, 90s, as you mentioned.
Yeah, go for that. That would be
no
nice.
problem. I'll sort something out then.
Thank you. It means a lot. I wouldn't have time to do it otherwise. So thank you.
No, it's no problem.
Are you?
Yeah.
How are you after the other night? I know Janish's was a bit of a turn.
Janish's, it's a special place, that I'm sure.
Yeah.
You realise there's a few spirits around the place, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's things there that I don't understand. I don't think I'm not sure I really want to understand.
Right. It's a mysterious fellow, that Janish.
Yeah, he's enigmatic. It's been 5 years and I feel like I've only just cracked the surface with him.
You seem to be suggesting that the spirits around the place were more like pets.
I think that's probably the way he looks at them. I think he's got some kind of control over them. I mean, they don't seem to be malevolent even.
Right, well, I'll know to be prepared for next time.
Yeah, but you see them all then. You see everything around.
As I said, it's more switching it off that's the problem.
Can you do it? That will.
Yeah, I just normally most of the time it's fine. It's just when there's quite a lot of them, it just it's hard to switch it off again.
Yeah. Well, maybe the more you're there, the more you get used to it.
Well, I hope there's a reasonable compromise and all between us. It seems like they likes the place, Nanj and Janish.
Yeah, Nanj. She wasn't always super keen on it, but I think, something happened, and then they were. She became quite aligned with Janish and the way he thinks.
Thick as thieves, are they?
They are. They are very much so.
Well,
which is good. Yeah, I mean, it's good for them.
No, it's good to have in a coterie. You don't want people working at odds with one another.
No, and I mean, having a row with Nanj the other day. I mean, it happens, but we'll patch it up. It's fine.
Right, and I was perhaps a little bit harsh on some of the stuff. When you're in a situation and you're talking about pretty sensitive stuff, and you got spirits kind of brushing past you.
I mean, it's.
I was perhaps a little bit more rough than I should have been, but it seems sensible. Now I'm thinking about it, we could probably talk to this Caleb guy, and if anything happens, I could always just take away what he remembers. Yeah,
no. Can you so you can I can do something similar.
You can. Good.
But I mean,
and between the two of us, we'll just.
To what extent can you do it? I mean, how long does it last?
Well,
I mean, if someone said, I don't know,
people can only do the last few moments of having a talk with them. I can do something a bit more than that.
Oh, like
I can make you forget a couple of days if needed.
Okay, right. I mean,
don't get me wrong. I don't like to do it. Taking mine, it's like it feels wrong.
Yeah, no.
I mean, playing around with people's minds and all, but
I wouldn't make a habit of it. I wouldn't. No. Yeah.
But sometimes it's for their best, and you just especially keeping the masquerade and all. It's important to make sure that they don't remember what they're not supposed to remember. So we just make sure that doesn't happen. No.
Yeah, no. I can completely relate. Something happened. By the river a few months ago, which was best left misremembered by people.
Good. Well, if you got anybody you need sorting, then just you know where to bring them now.
I will. Thank you. Yeah, no, I will.
Anyway, I mean, it's more difficult to do on Kindred and the likes, but
they've got a bit of a sort of barrier up against them.
And that Caleb, he's got a thick head.
Yeah, yes. He's
them bloody country,
Yeah, he's a bit. I mean, he's not all there, is he? He's made some choices.
Anyway,
Do you know? You don't know him, do you? Particularly well.
Camarilla, no?
No. I mean, Yeah, but like you don't know him.
Hey, we're all
closely.
best buds in the Camarilla.
One of the
Yeah, I
cam
know.
boys.
Tight, aren't you?
Aye, something like that. Definitely not
Alright.
trying to, do one over on one another all the time and fighting all this and that and the other. But, it's fine. I mean, he seems fair enough.
Yeah. All right. Well,
Anyway, we
I
should
better.
probably sort out the arrangements,
Yeah, let's do that, and then we'll continue to sort of hash things out.
Right, sounds good. Come through, I'll show you some of the things I put together so far.
Yeah, love to.
Okay. So, Matilda and Dermot chat a little bit about options and things to do with the rallying, the campaign rally party that Matilda Wells is going to throw. So, you're going to need funding. Let's hope Audrey is up to date with her finances. Now, Nangisel and Janish. I imagine Nangisel would rather use this time to decompress and sort of rest her head and her emotions a bit. And I would.
She expects, probably incorrectly, that this will wear off
Yes,
because that's what you've done in her mortal life.
exactly.
So she will not immediately be taking any action in regards to this.
Not yet. Okay. Janish, what is Janish's state after the conversation with Nangisel?
His state.
As in, what is he thinking
He's
about?
quite.
Sorry?
He's annoyed because he feels like Nangisel was skating the edge of serious disrespect as a guest in his home. But also, she's obviously in a very emotional state. So he's a giving grandfather, right, as well as a taking one. But he's a bit preoccupied with other stuff from last session.
Yes.
So I imagine he is thinking mainly about business.
Clearing his head, walking around a certain area of the city, asking questions about.
I mean, he will ultimately want to go and talk to the rest of the coterie, but given that he doesn't drive or have a phone, and no one's come to get him, I imagine he will just go wandering. He'll take Duchess and go for a wander.
You could walk to the HQ as part of your nightly walk with the Duchess, and because it's still within Lockley's. Like the domain is not massive. It's not going to be a super short walk. It's going to be a good 20 minutes.
Oh, that's fine.
That's fine.
Yeah. I mean, if he happens to go via the church, if that's on the way, great. If not, I'll do it another time.
No, the church is it's further east, so it'll take him way longer. Also, it's going to be close to midnight by the time he gets there, so it's going to be quite empty of people. Because I imagine you were doing stuff in the house first, then you had the conversation with Nangisel.
Yeah, we were doing stuff to do with the Children of Summer. Most night. That's fine.
Okay, so you go out. And by the time you reach HQ, and go through the front door, Matilda and Dermot are sitting in the living room. Matilda is looking at her laptop. Dermot is looking at a laptop. There is soft ambient music playing in the background that Dermot has decided to put. Lighting has also been appropriately changed, so there is one lamp that Matilda has over her papers, while the rest of the room has the correct mood for the music that is playing. You have to be somewhat careful with some of the crumbled papers that are around, responsible for the deforestation of probably half of the Amazon. She is now filling displays with a lot of ideas that she's discarding.
Okay.
They look to be, each of them, busy, but in each other's company, doing their things alone. As in, each one of them working on their own.
I won't look up from my laptop. I'll just say, hi, Anish.
Good evening.
Dermot, you see the equivalent of a small horse coming, a very furry, dog-looking small horse, because that's the size of the Duchess coming in.
He's pretty much gonna go, fuck! and throw his computer off, and then make it for the door through to the studio.
Fine, it's just Duchess.
It's,
Is
she's
it gone?
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's gonna jump up and leave.
Okay, so Yanis will lean because as Matilda sat down,
Yeah.
Yes.
so he'll lean forward a little bit on his cane and say, "Has Dermot been strange this evening?"
He's a bit sort of, well, I don't know if strange. He's just more focused. I mean, he's more focused. It's like he's looking at me more than he normally does.
He and Nandazal had some form of celebration last night, and she is not herself, it is fair to say.
Is she
And
okay?
I think she will be okay. She was not when I left her.
So they got drunk.
I am still unsure exactly what they did,
Oh,
but
that doesn't really sound like Nanj.
that is exactly what I said, Matilda, exactly what I said. I note that Dermot seems to have left.
Yeah, I think I look at Duchess and give her a pat. I don't think he likes dogs.
What?
I don't think he likes dogs.
Oh dear.
If you want to go and chat with him, I can stay with Duchess.
Well, if he has some issue with the Duchess, she can be outside, or I won't bring her in future. But I came here to speak about more important matters. We have business with Teach. And there is another matter which, when Nanjazal is recovered, I want to speak to you all on.
Yeah, we need to ask Teach to ask Caleb round, is that right?
Yes. I'm sure that Teach will find a way to make Caleb talk.
Yeah. I think we just need to be careful of how hard we push with him.
Well, I don't think we should push at all. I think Teach should.
Okay. Yeah, well, we should definitely all be there while it's happening.
Well, if you say so. I'm quite happy to let Teach handle it and find out what happens afterwards. Of course, it would be useful to have someone in the room, perhaps Nanjazal. She would be able to tell us what really happened. Teach may be... Well, he likes his information, and he likes it to go one way.
Well, yes, and also I would quite like to be in that room as well. No disrespect to Nanj, obviously, but she is also aligned with Teach. I mean, I think we just need to have someone else there as well.
If you say so, I trust Nanjazal, I'm sure.
I know, I do
she
as
would
well.
want to,
But I know that she wants to obviously patch things up with Teach. Do you know why they went out and were they just feeling like going on in town? Was Nanj fit? Was anything wrong?
I think Nanjazal was doing something important for her on a spiritual level.
Oh, well.
And I think afterwards, to celebrate that being concluded, she and Dermot did whatever it was that Dermot thought best.
Yeah, he likes a good party, Dermot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can work in this place?
It's actually really nice. I look around. It's nice to not be. I don't know. Home feels. My flat doesn't feel like I can work in it, and I don't really. No disrespect to you, I don't want to work in your home because you've got lots of other things going on there. It's very busy with your inhabitants, so this is a nice option C.
Well, I'm glad it works for you.
Yeah.
How is this going to work with seeing Teach? I think it should be done sooner rather than later.
If we can do it tonight, I mean, well, actually, no, if Nanja's, maybe not tonight, maybe tomorrow.
Well, perhaps if she is recovered, I don't know how long such things last.
I don't know either.
Perhaps Dermot might know.
Yeah, Dermot.
Hello.
Do you want us to take the dog out?
What dog?
The big furry thing that came in the door.
That's not a fucking dog.
It's a dog. It's not a bear. It's not a horse. It's a dog. I promise. It won't
It's
bite.
another one of his pets.
Yeah, it's a good pet.
Yes, the Duchess is my pet. Yes.
It's a matter of fucking opinion.
All right. Why don't you come in, give her a pet, and if you hate it, then we'll look at other options.
He will nervously sort of make his way into the room,
Okay.
start to edge around, see if this thing's going to growl at him.
Not one bit. This mammoth of a dog is placidly sitting next to Matilda with her head on Matilda's lap as Matilda pets her. You come into the room and only her eyes move to regard you for a second and then go close again. As is, she feels okay, content, no weird reactions, neither positive nor negative.
I should have asked, perhaps, before bringing her in, Dermot. My apologies.
I extended you the full hospitality at this place. You don't need to apologize. Just what is that?
This is the Duchess, and she's one of the many dogs that I keep. I'm used to be a dog breeder a long time ago. I keep my hand in.
You bred that?
Yes, yes.
Give her a pet. Just, I'll.
Oh,
She's a Kuvak. They're all this size.
I
Normally.
see.
Yeah, they're a large breed, but very gentle, and she is especially so, and very well trained. So you don't need to worry about it.
Well, I just I hear these things take time to get accustomed and stuff. So I'll just stay over here for the moment, and it can stay over there, and we can get accustomed to one another.
Indeed, she will stay right there for as long as you need. Now, I'm aware that you were celebrating last night. Do you think, in your opinion, that Nanzao will be ready for meeting Teach this evening?
Is she struggling, is she?
Yes. Yes, she's not herself, Dermot, and I have a belief that that is because of the nature of the celebrations you enjoyed.
Well, it was a proper Irish wake, so it's important to, have a view.
Sorry, a wake.
We was celebrating the life of her father.
Oh.
Seeing him off properly, and so you kind of have a few bevies and get proper rat-assed. So obviously it's more difficult for us to do that. So we went out down to the harbour side, around a few other places, ended up in Motion, and I suppose I just shared what I had, and normally it works for me. But I suppose some other people don't quite have the tolerance I do for such things.
I see.
So I could understand maybe if she's a bit sensitive, like.
Well,
maybe we need to ask her. Just is she fit to? I mean, what state is she in?
She was not herself.
Grumpy and irritable.
Yes.
No, I meant that's how normally she is.
No, not like that, damn it. Not like that.
Was she vertical? Was she horizontal? Could she get up? Oh, right.
Well,
It's fine,
maybe-
judging what you've said. Perhaps we should do this tomorrow.
I think probably wise to take a bit of time and just get it cleaned out,
Just, I mean, I imagine Teach is a busy man. To get Teach and Caleb in the same place and the same night with, like, no notice might be a bit difficult anyway.
It might take me a day or two. If you want, I can reach out and see if I can encourage him to come meet us. Who was it who's going to do that? I was supposing as he was part of the cam, that I'd reach out and all.
Well, I was going to see what Teach wanted to do.
Oh, fair enough. No, that's the best idea.
I think it would be best if Teach invited him for a talk. No doubt Caleb will think it is some business of boon exchange. And then when they're there, Teach can suggest that he knows what Caleb has done. It seems to me that Caleb would find that easy to believe.
I said you're a smart one, Janusz. That's a good point.
And then hopefully Teach will be able to make him talk, or will at least be able to learn something in a way that I think we would struggle to.
Yes. Yeah, he'd be on his guard, I think, too much.
So we're not going to talk to him too, or is it just
Well,
be like on the other side of like a one-way mirror or something?
Well, I think we need to maybe chat with Teach and ask him what he thinks the best course of action is, whether he's comfortable doing. He might not want to do all the work by himself. He might want us to actually question him and him to be in the room.
Well, I'm sure he'll have an opinion in any case.
Yeah.
Right.
Very well. So, shall we say tomorrow night then we will go there? Perhaps we should make that known to Teach tonight.
Can you, Dermot, you're able to communicate with...
I can get a message through to Teach, yeah. No problem.
Thank you.
Good.
Okay.
Well then, I will bid you good evening then.
And at that, Duchess sort of like raises her head, sort of like buries it a little bit on Matilda's side, and then stands up and walks next to Janusz, as if on cue. No physical anything that could give away that emotions or anything or words that could give away Janusz actually saying something, as if the dog just knew what the conversation had drew to an end and that they were ready to leave. I would imagine that Dermot is going to call to make arrangements to see Teach as soon as possible.
Yep.
When you mention that this is related directly to the investigation, it is definitely booked for the following day. Bex, is there anything that you would like Nigel to do? As she can feel it sort of like leaving her system, but it's much slower. Like, you definitely do not need to anchor yourself. Now you can lay down on your side.
Okay.
But
do I estimate that this will be, like, by the time I get through to tomorrow, that this will be done and dusted?
yes, you might be a little bit sore, but not impaired or destroyed. You would just be, how anyone would feel a few days after a big party. So it's like, oh yeah, there's a little bit there, but it's not uncomfortable anymore, or in a way that is now.
Okay. Then, yeah, no, she will just wait for that to happen.
Okay. So I imagine that the rest of the evening, Dermot continues doing a little bit of bash up music recording, especially now that a theme and a mood has been agreed for the party. Making probably a few phone calls or sending emails to see which one of these tribute bands can show up. Janusz probably goes back to his his domain and takes care of business, and everybody does a little bit of self-admin Matilda running through things that she needs to address in case there is the political debate where she needs to step in. Like, what are the issues that she wants to drive home when she does the rally? If there is a speech that she wants to give, anything.
Yeah.
A new day comes. Ooh, and with a new day, a new rouse check, and I love it because that means that before your talk with Teach, you might be, feeling it a little.
I think Dermot will probably try to organise for meeting with some of his herd. Obviously, he's got an opportunity with the gig coming up to do a little bit of stuff, so he's going to try and see if he can arrange that to be able to get to feed prior to any kind of meeting.
Nangisel feels actually much better than she expected today. That's also because part of that blood has been thoroughly consumed. Now it's not affecting you anymore. You are at hunger 3, failing your rouse check. I believe Matilda and Janice remain at 2 and Dermot at 3. You do have the opportunity to get... how much are you getting from your herd?
I'm on hunger 2, so I'll just get down to 1 again.
To 1 again. Excellent.
Yeah.
That is a fairly simple matter. And by the time you wake up, you have the possibility of meeting a few of them, getting that sorted.
It's a tough decision. He wants to continue riding that high if he can, but he knows it's probably going to get dangerous if he doesn't.
So you're looking to ride your high.
If he can, he'll try and get a hold of somebody who's still in some way affected.
What is your total level of herd?
I think it's 2.
If it's 2, then yes. So
yeah.
Okay, then yes.
So he'll keep trying to ride the high at the moment. That he's mindful of.
Okay, for a 3rd night in a row. Cool. So everybody is up and about. I would assume everybody goes to the HQ unless Nangisel and Janice want to have a chat on their way there.
I don't know. Is that something that he's proposing?
So yeah, maybe on the way there.
Okay.
He will say, "How are you feeling this evening, Nangisel?"
Better than yesterday.
Good.
Ta.
You seem more yourself.
Well, I feel more like myself, for sure.
There's something that I will most likely speak to the rest of the coterie about, but I wanted to speak to you about it first.
All right. What's that?
Well, you recall, of course, that there was the attack on our home.
Aye.
And that those individuals for the society were working on their own. They had not yet reported to the society here in Bristol.
Right. So say, anyways.
Well, I recognized a name that was given of someone in the society here in Bristol. I make it my business to speak to various people. I've lived here for a long time. And in the past, the society have had an advantage against the Children of Summer, for they have been watching us. We've been unaware of them until they came. This time, we are aware of them. And whilst we do not know their numbers, and whilst many will be unaware of what the society truly does, there will be those, like those people, those invaders, who will be coming into the city.
More of them.
Yes. Not necessarily going for us at this time, but now we can watch them. We can learn who those people are, such that when we feel the time is right, we can go after them.
Do you want me to do it then?
What I want you to do, Nanjazal, is to watch. I know you are very skilled at doing things delicately and not being seen.
Whereabouts is this place?
It's not far from us, actually. The church I'm thinking of.
I'll go in the church.
No, not in the church, necessarily. But there will be people coming and going. Now, many of the people that go to the church are ignorant of kindred. But I suspect that those who keep later hours, that visit the church after dark, are more likely to be of interest to us. And that if you observe the comings and the goings, to identify who those people are, well, we could start to see if there's a pattern. We could see if there are enemies that we were not previously aware of.
You don't want me to do nothing then?
Not yet, no. Because if we strike now, they will know.
And what are you thinking then?
I'm thinking that when the time is right, we will strike them a serious blow. And also that if we are aware of who they are and what they are doing, then if they begin planning moves against us, we are more likely to know in advance.
Right. Well, that sounds good. I do it.
Thank you, Mademoiselle.
You want me to go there now?
Not right now. We have business with Teach tonight.
Oh yeah, the thing with Caleb.
And this will be something that happens slowly. I imagine much of it will be very dull. There'll be many nights where nothing happens.
That's the way it always is when you're following people.
Yes, we will need to be patient.
Oh,
Play
patience.
the long game.
Patience is what we're good at.
Yes, Nanjazal. Yeah.
Alright, well, oh, wait, you're not telling the others about this? Or you're going to tell them?
I think I will discuss it, yes. I'm still trying to decide what I feel about Dermot, whether he should be entirely trusted at this time.
Well, it's no help to me if there's other people punting around. That just makes it more likely to be discovered. So if you want me to go watch this place,
Yes,
I don't
yes.
want no one else butting in on that.
No, agreed. I think you are the best place to handle this.
Right.
For now, anyway. We will no doubt need their help once we are ready.
When you say you made your mind up about Dermot, what do you mean? He's a good bloke.
Well, I'm pleased that you approve of him. I think he has potential. I'm just not certain about him.
What? In what way?
Sometimes it is clear with people, you know, in the moment that you meet them, the kind of person they are. And I do not know that with him yet.
But you could see all the people at your house.
Yes, he is full of promise, as I say. It is not his promise that I doubt. It is him. I'm sure things will become clear soon enough.
They usually do. Got a way of doing that, haven't they?
Yeah. And the fact that you have faith in him is a step forward, I think.
I think so. He's a solid bloke. He helped me when I needed help, so can't say it's fairer than that, can you?
I suppose not.
I suppose we best get on, haven't we?
Yes.
So after you walk all the way to the HQ, I would assume the four of you just get on cars to go meet Teach.
Yeah.
Straightforward drive all the way to Avonmouth. No fancy conversations on the SS Great Britain. Nanjazal will be very relieved when the conversation happens inside the office. None of the boats is ready to sail. At least not Teach's boat.
Good news.
That's good news, indeed.
So I should say, because Nanjazal wasn't there when we were talking the previous night, he would have Janis would have filled Nanjazal in as to kind of what we're thinking of doing
Right. Okay.
regarding teaching Caleb.
Okay.
So you're allowed to see Teach after a short time waiting. All right. Come in, close the door. Tell me fast.
We have someone we want to have words with.
A suspect already. I like it.
Caleb.
Make it like it is, probably.
Bugger off. Caleb.
Right.
Obasi's child Caleb.
Well,
Yes.
you said go after the people who are guilty, and he looks guilty as fuck. That's all I'm saying.
Why is he guilty as fuck? Is this the person that... Do you have a witness that places them there? Why on earth was he in Anarch territory in the first place? Does he have permissions? Have you checked with the library? Does he have something sanctioned by the cartographer that allows him to freely roam in your
He's
area?
what he was there. It's what he was doing.
Yes. He was trying to hide the headless body in the river.
Pretty certain that no permission for a library gives him permission to do that, does it?
How do you know about this?
We have a trusted source.
We do.
Don't know if that means he was the one who put the body in the apartment or the Ed, right? Or whether he was just getting rid of the rest of it. But either way, he's got the best link of anyone as being involved.
Now, it seems to me that if you were to raise such a thing with him, he would very easily believe that you would have a means to know. And him being caught in such a position by you would place him at a severe disadvantage, and that might make him more amenable to discussing other things in exchange for, well, not getting into severe trouble.
He might cough up all kinds of useful information and all.
I also have it on good authority that there's someone going around BS3 removing memories, and that seems like quite
It's
a...
real life, isn't it?
Yeah.
You've got to say, Teach, it's stacking up, isn't it?
Well, you seem to be making a case against Caleb.
Now, who knows? Maybe he's doing this on behalf of his sire.
I think he knows.
There's all different can of worms, aren't we? But I bet, more likely than not, be a good thing to know about it if that's the case, wouldn't it?
I don't think it would hurt to at least speak with him.
So, what do you think, Carrot Top?
I can't hear you. What was that, Dermot?
I think there's nothing wrong with a friendly chat.
So, Matilda, this is your turf. You're running to... Your campaign is to run the place.
I don't like the idea of someone going around dumping bodies and wiping minds.
Do you really like the idea of Obasi Kelomo noticing you in that way? A lot of shit can go down badly. He doesn't even have to say much. Obasi is very possessive. And Caleb is his possession.
I think we can make Caleb understand that discretion is important in this matter. Which is why I'd quite like to be in the room when you chat with him.
Just you and me and him.
Well, Nanj, if you want to be there as well.
Hi.
Sounds like he's going to feel real comfortable.
Teach, do we? Maybe there he won't know about it.
Natch can be present without Caleb finding out.
I think it makes sense to have you in the room, me in the room, as someone who's has a vested interest in that area and what is going on.
I agree more with Dermot. The less of us he sees, the more comfortable he will get talking. So Nigel can be present, but as long as she's not visible.
Also, if he decides to have a rock around in anyone's head, he won't know I'm there. So I know what's happening, won't I?
Oh, I would like him to try rocking around this.
Tell you what, I'd fucking like him to try too.
Well, I'm sure that Dermot and I can find a way to entertain ourselves while you're having this meeting.
He's big up, high up in the Camarilla. I'm going to have to ask you at this point, like you have made very good points, but again, this is the child of the Ventroprimogen of the Camarilla. You're trying to pin shit up. You're not revealing your source. And I mean, so who's going to be doing the final persuasion check? It felt like Matilda was the one that was saying at the end, put me in the room with you and we'll talk to him, right?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
Can I give an assist? Because Janusz was also part of the scene.
Yes, definitely, absolutely. What is your persuasion?
Janusz's persuasion is 3.
You're getting a full success. Dermot, Nigel, do either of you have persuasion skill?
No, I do.
You don't.
Now you know.
Sounds reasonable.
I mean, have you been lying? You at least would have something.
Yeah.
I mean, I sort of am lying. Don't tell Janusz.
Dermot?
Yeah, Dermot will definitely be helping, but he's only got persuasion at 2.
Okay, persuasion 2 gives you 1 extra die. Persuasion 3 will give you 1 extra success, because that's how our house rules work.
Okay.
So
what am I rolling? Persuasion and...
I think it would be charisma. I think you're trying to convince him. You're not trying to manipulate him. You're not trying to go around anything. It's just roll your charisma plus persuasion plus 1 extra die. You can rouse, of course, if you want.
Okay.
Are you rousing?
Apparently not, because I just pressed the door.
Okay. The idea is for you to tell me if you are going to rouse before or after. Before, not after you roll.
My bad. I would have, because this is quite important.
Okay, so then it's going to be a charisma plus manipulation plus charisma, a charisma plus persuasion roll, because English. You will have 3 bonus dice, 1 from Dermot, 2 from your rouse check.
Correct. All right. Should I just re-roll that then?
Yeah, you just roll, but now add 3 dice instead of the none.
Okie dokie. 3 dice.
Okay, are you gonna do a willpower reroll, bearing in mind that you right now have 5 plus 1 from Janus, 6 successes, but a 10 on a hunger die?
Yeah, go on.
You can reroll 3, exactly 3 of your non-hunger dice.
Beautiful. Okay. Willpower reroll 3.
4, 5, 6. You have a total of 7 successes.
Okay. And no messy critical.
And no messy critical. But did I mention that you also have a 1 on your 2 hunger dice came 1 and 10. Talk about like extremes. Let's see because if you fail the roll, not only you will fail, you will gain a compulsion.
Ah, shit. Okay, cool.
Because you will have a bestial failure, and I will probably give you a compulsion, because that is the funniest thing I can think of you trying to be dominating with Teach in the room. So let's see how much is Matilda going to live. And roll 20 makes it suspenseful. Okay, this is ridiculous. It says rolling dice, but Ooh. Okay. So you barely made it. A margin of 1, basically. Basically. This is not social combat. He's just trying to, he's putting sort of, not barriers. He's posing questions that are genuine and legitimate.
Yeah.
But you, as a group, seem to be having an answer for each and every single one of them. And he says, well, nothing. We'll lose nothing if we have a friendly chat. Then I will summon him.
Where do you want me to be? Here or elsewhere?
Rather have you in the room.
This room or somewhere place you can meet him?
I think it'll be this room.
All right.
Let me first get a hold of him.
I'm
Caroline,
not going to get them.
get Caleb here before the end of the night. If you have to brag that I'm the master of trade, do so. But don't make waves. I mean, her face is like, oh shit. But she just, yes sir. She goes out. And that's where we're gonna go for a break. First of all, we have information, important information that is relevant to everyone in the community. So if you're one of the people that jump ship before we finish it for the break, hang on, listen to this important, very important public announcement from Peter, and then good night.
Okay, so very important. It was Rob's birthday recently. So happy birthday, Rob.
Cumpleaños feliz. Happy birthday, Bray.
And please don't go yet. In addition, well, we, as some of you know, we have a Patreon, and we've had that for quite a long time. And there's a lot of people who have supported us again for a very long time now, and we've had various plans with it, and we've always been extremely kind of grateful to you wonderful, wonderful humans. And we have made some changes, and then COVID's happened, and there was lots of things that kind of slowed us down. And although we've still been kind of using those funds to do things like get a better camera on us this week, and things like paying the artists for things like the intro and character art, all that kind of stuff, which has been great, we were a bit unhappy with the Patreon itself, because one of the things about it is that people support us every month, and it felt like, although some things we're really pleased with, like the vote, where people can get involved in the story on a regular basis, there's other things where we felt like we would like to be giving people who support us something back every month as well. So because of that, we've been having some talks about it, and we have made some amendments to the Patreon. So if you are one of our supporters at the moment, you don't have to do anything. Everything kind of is as it was, but it means that at certain levels, you will get certain things from us starting this month and running till the end of Severn, at which point, when things change over, we will kind of relook again. So that means, for example, that might be things like V5 kind of materials that we've created for these chronicles that we'll share with you, so you can kind of use them in your own games. But it can also involve artwork, and for some of you lucky people, a postcard from Hubert. So if you are kind of curious whether you support us or you don't, check out our Patreon. It's all been updated and the information is all there. And if anything is unclear or you have questions, do let us know and we'll get back to you on that. But yes, thank you everyone who has supported us, especially you old timers who've been there a long time. It's made a huge difference to what we can do, and you're great. Thank you.
So thank you very much to all of our supporters, and it's been a ride, and I mean it's amazing, and yes, the fact that we can up our production value and the quality, but also give back to the community. It is our community, the people we go to first when we want artwork, ideas, guest players, and being able to have that interaction is always worth it. So we wanted to have the Patreon reflect that, in a better way.
Yeah.
So with that said, it is slightly over 8:45. We're going to go in a 15-minute break, and we will be back here at 9 p.m. Local UK time. So see you in a bit. Bye. Hello and welcome back for part 2 of episode 8 of the second season of Blood on the Severn. And we left it with our coterie being there in Avonmouth, where Teach has just summoned Caleb. A few minutes after Caroline leaves with the instructions from Teach, she comes back and enters the office, puts a folder in front of Teach, whispers something in his ear, and leaves. And he says, "All right, looks like we're going to be waiting here for about an hour. So, if you don't mind, you can wait outside. I have stuff to do."
Yeah, it's fine.
Wait outside.
Okay.
Can I pull Nanj to the side at some point during that hour?
Yeah, sure.
Just somewhere where we can't be overheard, and just say, "Are you alright? Yanish was worried about you.
Why?
Said that you were out on the Raz last night."
Well, yeah, but it was a celebration.
Yeah, no.
It weren't like we were just doing it for the sake
Yeah,
of it.
no, I know. Dermot said that it was for your dad.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad.
Nice to know everyone knew my business.
Yeah. No, I think, yeah, as long as you're fine. When you're in there with us, I don't know what Caleb's going to say, obviously. But just in case something comes up, I don't know if it will, but I have a little bit of unfinished business with Abassi.
What sort of unfinished business?
It's from a long time ago. It's from when I first arrived here.
How long ago, it don't matter, because people like him remember for a long time. What sort of
I know.
unfinished business?
Specifics don't matter. When I arrived, it was complicated and it was messy, and he arranged some things to make sure that I wasn't in any kind of blood hunt danger territory.
So you reckon he might be going to lean on it?
Yeah, it might come up.
That's what I want. And why are you putting yourself forward to do that? Seems like a risk you don't need to take, doesn't it?
Yeah, but it's something I want to take because this has been hanging over my head for over 20 years now, and I'm just sick of it.
How is this going to make it not hang over your head?
Because if we have something over Caleb, then I don't know, something might change, things might move.
Or they might decide now's a good time to call in their favours. Nothing like putting the favour right in front of them to remind them of it, is there?
Yeah, but I'm standing for representative. I want.
Yeah.
If I don't go into this room, if I just chicken out, then I'm a shitty representative. I'd be awful. I wouldn't.
You know what? You know what I'd do if I was, I don't know, say an old Ventru.
Yeah.
You owed a favour. I'd make it so you were the winner. Pretty easy to do, right?
Yeah.
Just because it's an anarch vote, don't mean he's not going to take an interest in it. Then I got power over you, and you got power. All of a sudden, my favour is worth a lot more than it used to be.
Yeah.
Just saying, might not be nothing, but
yeah. No, it's cross. It's not really my lot, but
well, they are a lot. It's blood, isn't it? It's no faction. It's the blood what drives us. Same way. I don't mean nothing by it. Same way that twat Ruben's my blood, whether I likes it or not.
Yeah, but you don't like him, do you? You don't care.
No, but that don't mean I ain't got aspects of how I am that are like him. Just like you all are good at playing the long game. 20 years ain't nothing to them, is it?
Yeah, well, they might be good, but so am I.
So what you're saying is, you're telling me this why? Because
I'm telling you because I don't want you to be in the room and then get fucked off if you bring something up that I haven't already told you. I'd rather tell you first.
Right, well, you know what? That's a good idea.
Yeah, because
Now, so you're saying you don't want me to lose my shit?
I don't want you to lose your shit, and I don't want you to be upset with me, to be honest.
Well, you know what? I'm not upset with you. So, seems like we're all good.
Okay.
But if that twat comes in here, says he's had to do with this what we think, then I've got some serious planning to do to undermine him and his sire.
Yeah, I mean, something has to change, and if they've given us the ammunition, then that's great. And the ammunition might be that they've done a bunch of murders around the city, which is frankly really fucking stupid, but...
Teach said Bassi is possessive.
He is.
Now, tell me, does he feel... He might well feel that way about his child, but he might feel that way about someone who owes him a favour too. If you had to cut it one way or another, would you say he's possessive of you?
Yes.
Good to know. Because, you know, I likes to know whenever I goes into things just quite how much shit I'm walking into.
Yeah, and as you're in the room, I mean, judging by the weight of that Teach put on some of those words, I think he knows to a certain extent. So I want everyone in that room to know and be on the same page.
Here's a thought for you.
Yeah.
Now we've got this permission to investigate things, because we're the, I don't know, trusted party or whatever we are. How about under the line, or under the radar, so to speak, we try and find a way to get you out from under that obligation. Seems like we're going to have this kind of power for only a finite period of time. It seems like a good thing to do is to spend it, making it so that your situation is different when we come out of this. If he's got some sort of hold over you, he ain't letting it go, unless it ain't worth it, or we offer him something else that's worth more.
Yeah.
Just saying, sounds like something we should sit down and plan out, if you ask me.
Very glad you said that. I was thinking about it a lot, but I didn't really want to put it on the three of you, because it's not your mess to clean up. But
well, since when did this coterie operate on messes to clean up that were only ours? It's never the case.
Yeah.
But for the record, I can't speak for the others, but for the record, I think that's absolutely our play.
Yeah, I think...
Find something he's interested in, he wants, get you out from under him.
Thinking of yourself.
Be no bother.
Yeah,
so
back in.
About an hour passes, as expected. What are Dermot and Janusz going to do? Are you going out for a walk on the docks in Avonmouth and the piers? Or are you going inland?
I certainly think Janusz does not want to be there when Caleb turns up.
Definitely. Neither of you should be around.
So if Dermot doesn't suggest anything, this is me pausing in case he's about to suggest something.
I don't think anything's going to jump to mind.
So Janusz will suggest going for a walk then. He'll suggest going for a walk around the water.
Okay, let's go first with that conversation and then with Caleb.
Okay.
So the two of you are going to be walking around until you get a message.
Yeah.
Or until Dermot gets a message from Caroline.
Yep.
It's an overcast night. And you can feel and hear the water. This is the proper port of Avonmouth, and if you're going to be walking around the water, well, there's plenty of it. The Severn Channel is right there.
Well, it has been an eventful few nights, it seems.
Is it always like this with you guys?
Not always quite this busy, all at the same time. But yes, there is often a lot going on.
Oh, it's a busy night, isn't it? What with London and all.
Worrying times, I would say.
Right.
It strikes me the rest of us have something of an advantage in that we have spent some years together, and in that time we have shared certain experiences. It is, I think, always hard to really know someone until you have been through something of import with them. And I'm aware it might be strange for you coming into this group.
Well, I mean, I know the other two pretty well. I suppose it's just you and me that don't really know each other particularly well.
Yes, well, that perhaps is quite the point. This seems a good opportunity for us to get to know each other a little better.
Oh, that'd be nice. You're all the stories it cracked up to be,
The stories?
Well, people say that you're mysterious and, a bit different to most of the other kindred in the city, and it's true, I mean, people don't just talk about you, it's just, when it comes up in conversation. I'm not saying that we're all just gossiping behind your back and all.
No, I imagine not. But yes, I am different to the other kindred in this city. It's true.
It was strange the things you mentioned the other day.
Oh?
Visions and all. Struck a chord with me because of my clan. There's a number of the clan just have, things come to them like that. I was just interested about, what led you to that kind of thing.
What led me to visions?
Well, it seems you have this faith or the likes.
Yes. I do. I do have a faith. And it is my assumption that you also have one. Or at least have had one at some time.
No, I still have a strong faith. You may not know, but I'm a member of the Roman Catholic Church,
Ah. I see. Well, as you are probably aware, I am not a member of that church. But I too have a strong faith and have had fruitful relationships with people of that faith. Though I would say that your faith has a interesting relationship with kindred.
Well, some people in the church always seem to forget that forgiveness is important. They get on with all the righteous branding and stuff like that.
So you are a forgiving man, then?
I'd like to think so. For those people would deserve it. But there's some people who don't deserve it, and it's not really my choice to make judgment on these things. Sometimes it gives me a bit of solace that sometimes giving somebody a bit of a lamp isn't exactly undeserved, let's put it that way.
Yes, I do not think that forgiveness is something that should be given easily.
No.
It should be earned, of course.
But this whole Slavic thing you got going on, them gods and all, is that what you do down at the house?
In a manner of speaking.
And as Janet says that, Dermot, you could have sworn you could swear you saw Silky poke her head over the waters. It makes no sense. There shouldn't be any of them in the Severn.
It's strange, you see, the things just seem to follow you around. Like these spirits and all.
Well,
Like you're attracting.
you are, it seems, someone of unusual talents. Something perhaps we have a little in common. Certainly most mortals and the majority of kindred do not, despite the miraculous state they exist in, seem to have difficulty accepting there is a wider world than the one they can see. And yet you and I, we do see. And when one can see, one can learn. And yes, I do have a different relationship with these things. Perhaps you see something of that.
Quite notably.
What do you see, Dermot? I'm genuinely curious. How much do you see?
I see all kinds of things around the place, you know, but
I mean about me specifically. You said you could see things were different around me. What do you see?
when you bring things out of the place, the dark places, they seem comfortable around you, like your dog. You know. Not certain it's really a dog that you got there, but if that's what you got everybody else believing, then that's fine.
I think it can be a difficult thing when you can experience what is truly out there, if you do not have anything to ground yourself.
I'm pretty well grounded, just, you know, it's... I mean, you see people act strange and all. They like to believe that there's something out there, but then when they're confronted with it, they easily forget it. And they don't always see how it influences their lives. There's a lot of evils in this world, and some of them have got to be put away. Some of us can see a little more than others, that's all. Some things are good, some things are bad. I mean, I don't know what you knew about our world before you fell into it. But obviously there's more to this place than most would admit. And if we didn't know about us beforehand, then surely there's a whole lot of things that we don't even know about that might be out there.
Well, I think there are a great many things that are unknown to kindred at large, but to answer your question, I've always, from a very young age, worshipped the old gods, but I did not see things as I see now. It was only after a lifetime of faith that my eyes were opened.
I see. So these gods, they're like, there's lots of them.
Yes, there is more than one.
I mean, I always seem a little confused when you have lots of gods, why you can't just have one god. I mean, it just doesn't make quite as much sense to me, but...
Well, that would make sense.
If that's what you wish to believe in, then that's entirely your choice.
Have you ever met your god, Dermot?
We all meet our maker in the end, don't we?
I don't mean later. I don't mean if you're planning to. I mean, have you ever met your God? Have you ever looked them in the eye? Have you ever heard their voice?
No, but that's, I suppose, one of the questions that a lot of Christians get a lot of the time from Doubting Thomas and like. But that's the question of faith, and I suppose if you maybe have had the same questions and feel the same way, I mean, that's the point of faith, isn't it?
Well, yes and no. I would say that it is a feature of the faith that you have. I have had I have friends and colleagues of many faiths, and we often speak of these things as old men are wont to do.
Mm.
But it is a little different what I do. And yes, for many years it was a matter of faith, a matter of believing in something. But that is not the case anymore. And you mention a phrase, the idea of a doubting Thomas, and the talk of faith, believing in something despite not having the evidence for it. That is, I feel, a thing of your church. It is not a thing of mine. The hand of the gods is something that can be seen. It is not something that needs to be held in your heart. It is something that can be experienced. It is a real thing. You say you see things, you see spirits, yes? The gods can be seen too, Dermot, if you know how to look for them. I have not seen your God.
This isn't one of those, if I show you mine, you'll show me yours kind of situations, is it?
If you can show me your God, well, I would love to see it.
Right, well, I'll work on that and see what happens.
Yes.
And,
Yeah.
if you're saying, I mean, anyway, I mean, there's lots of ways in which we see the world around us, and if you say that your gods are more present in the world, then fair enough.
I'm saying that I believe in something tangible, not something ethereal. And I'm saying that perhaps in time you will see it, for it seems your eyes are already open.
Well, perhaps.
And that such a thing can be difficult or overwhelming. And should you ever have such an experience, I would very much like to speak to you about it.
I will no doubt come to talk to you. You seem like a very wise individual, Mr. Janish.
Well, thank you.
So, seems to me like you're like a father to some of these individuals here. The Coterie. You have that kind of feeling about you and all.
Well, thank you. I suppose it is the way I am and the way they are. I find that most. You say you are grounded, Dermot. That is not always the case for many kindred. They are not grounded.
No, a lot of them are a little bit, they've been around for a long time, so some of them are a bit crazy.
Yes, quite. Or they are lost. This existence can be an empty one if all you have is the hunger.
Yeah, lost, obsessed. There's lots of different, things that. Yeah, I know what you mean.
But I find having people around, being part of their lives, is valuable. It seems you two are also in a way that is perhaps a little different to mine, but nevertheless similar. You are part of life. You engage with people, and you are creative. You make music. That's correct.
Yes.
Yes.
That is pretty correct.
And, well, I think this is a good thing. I think it is important. Those who forget who they are, well, that is the first step, isn't it?
Well, it's true. And I think perhaps some of us who remember what we were before this all happened to us are a little more grounded than others who have lost themselves to other things.
Hmm.
You know, it's had our lives before, but
Yes.
there are things that keep us going. It's remembering those things. I agree. So maybe, you know, it is fair. Maybe there is a good opportunity for us to do a little bit of the old, you show me yours and I'll show you mine.
Oh,
I'd
yeah.
like to maybe come down and get a bit more acquainted with your place. And have I have to apologize that I had such a bad reaction to it at first, but I would like to learn a little more and just see whether or not get myself a bit more grounded down there. But obviously, I would like you to come and listen to some of my music sometime. Perhaps we can both share a little, get to know one another a bit better in the mediums that we seem to understand.
Well, it seems that if you are willing to come to my home, which I understand for those who can see the scars, is not an easy thing to do, then the least I can do is listen to some of your music. So, very well. Seems we have an agreement.
Right.
And with that deal, the conversation will draw to an end by a message that says, "Come back." Now, rewinding a little bit, going into Teach's office, Caleb shows up.
I think it's worth saying I don't think I rolled a rouse check for when I rouse for the persuasion check.
Oh, yes.
Do I need to do that?
Yes.
Yeah.
You must tell me, because you're at hunger. Oh, still 2. Boo.
Okay, so do for the best, probably.
No, it's funnier when you're like at hunger 4 or 5, and you have to make those checks with a bucket of red dice that come up with.
I need to make myself invisible, so I don't know if I need to do a check for that.
Yes. Well,
Slash
if you're gonna stand in a corner that like shadowy corner or whatever, yes, you still, because you don't have.
Yeah, you actually click.
You have Unseen's Passage, so
I've got be quiet. I haven't got be invisible.
you got be quiet, and then
And I've got move around without being seen.
Okay, so now Giselle, you failed your rouse check. You're at hunger 4.
See, that's how it's done.
There it is.
But
Oh.
you literally fade out from view from the present.
Let's hope I don't get angry.
Caleb comes into the office where Matilda's sitting and Teach is there. Of course, he opens the door. Well, Caroline opens the door for him and he comes in, fixing his suit, and then he doesn't physically pause, but you see it in his face. Like, he sees you, Matilda, and then says, I was not expecting multiple people here. Have I interrupted something? Are you going to see me later, Teach?
No, we'll see you together.
Yeah. He just says, sit down. Shut the door, says to Caroline. And he sits down and says, well, what is so urgent you would summon me here in such a short notice and with such urgency and the need of discretion? Sounds very unlike you, Teach. You don't know what is the usual me, kid. You want to keep it that way. Something has come to my attention and I want answers. I don't want explanations. I want answers. He sort of composes himself. I'm not sure what you're talking about, Teach. Well, I have it in good faith that you were seen dumping the headless body of Scots robbers in the river. Caleb starts like chuckling, just like laughing at the accusation, and he says like, "Don't make me lose my patience, because I trust the source more than I could ever trust you." So you better start talking, kid, or there will be nothing left of you for Obasi to recognize. And all I have to do is say that we found that you were the murderer. And I lost my temper a bit. Had a bit of a fit. You can feel, both of you, Alice and Banks, like Matilda and Nanjasil, feel as if a wave of oppressiveness, just, I mean, Nanjasil, you feel it pushing it against your wall. You are, wow, like this man is going to town on Caleb. You can feel his presence filling the room in an overwhelming manner.
I regret not telling this man everything I've ever known.
It's the same for you, Matilda.
Yeah. Matilda's halfway between very, very concerned, but also really trying to like hold back a smile because she's enjoying it very much.
That's the thing. A part of you is enjoying it. You wouldn't be able to smirk even if you wanted to. You don't want to draw attention to yourself. Your body, your natural reaction is be outside the line of the path of destruction that this man can rig. Because when someone the age and power of Teach tries to intimidate you using presence to boost, you better be his age and have lots of fortitude to resist. Caleb acknowledges that this is not the conversation he's going to walk his way out of it really quickly. He just turns and says, "Abun, someone was there from the Camarilla. They were not supposed to be there." And he looks at you as if saying, like, this is surely a confidential conversation, right? They weren't supposed to be there. They needed help. I went there, didn't ask questions, got a massive boon out of it. Do not play games with me, boy. Who? I'm sorry, Teach, but I don't want to break the rules of the library as well. I don't want to be in that kind of trouble. Like, let me take care of Cassiel. You tell me who, I'll make sure the librarian has no way of sending him after you. Can I have your word on that? You know what I mean. And Teach looks at him and, like, for a second, regards him and changes his position, his posture, and that, like, you want to leave the room, but you don't. You just remain calm. He says, "Sure, if what you give me is good, I'll make sure nothing happens to you. And if what you give me is bad, I will still make sure nothing happens to you. But I'll be very, very crossed." Reginald Partridge. Huh? He's a fledgling of the Camarilla. Had a mortal lover in the area. But he doesn't even know the ropes yet. He was recently embraced some months ago. He's the child of the gangrel primogen, Clarence. He's one of the latest and newest additions. He called me because, being the child of a primogen myself, I don't know, he thinks we're kindred spirits or whatever. At some point I said, call me if you need anything, and well, that is exactly what he did. He was in the middle of Anarch territory after a body had been found, and a head had been found and a body was being sought after, and he was right there. So there's no way he could have been the killer, and I did not ask much. You know how this type of booms works. There's no way that he could have done what was done to Scott. But I took him out of the area and got rid of the body. But I didn't have much time, so I had to hastily dump it on the side of the river. You do know that I'm protected by the laws of Bristol and the library and the accords, and yet don't recite the law to me, kid. The new accords, I wrote them. I guess what we need is to have a conversation with this Reginald, isn't it? Did he see anything? I'm not sure, Teach. He says he didn't, and I believe him. Well, in order to keep things civil, don't tell any of this to anyone. Either of you. And he looks at Matilda, but he says it in a way that also makes Nangisel aware. It's like, what was said in this room is sort of like for the Coterie and Teach to know and nobody else, because booms are sort of sacred that way. You're not supposed to be blurting out those type of things. Especially, he's meddling with intra-faction boons of the Camarilla, for which he has no right. Thankfully, there are laws that protect him in this kind of situation, but probably Caleb figured that what's the protection of that boon worth if he's dead? Caleb, don't do anything funny. I want to keep you on a short leash. So clear out your schedule, because there's no telling when I'll call you, and I will want you right away. He says, why should I? What is happening, Teach? Well, just as no one is going to say anything about what you did, you will tell no one about what's going on here. Because all three factions have agreed with the blessing of the library to get to the bottom of those murders. Consider this a federal investigation, or however they call it. I'm not a suspect. I didn't do it. Well, if you didn't do it, ain't got nothing to worry about, right? Off you go. There's a door. He says nothing, stands up and leaves. And the moment the door closes, you feel the pressure in the room subside, but the mood Titch is in is not ideal.
I think that I will, given the mood that he's in, I'll make sure that he can see me.
Yeah.
And I'll make a bid for the exit.
I will
Yeah.
stand up. I'll say thank you, and I'll fucking leave.
So Nangisel leaves or makes it for the exit, opens the door. You're saying thank you, and he looks at the two of you now that you're in the same line of sight. And says, "Fuck me, you were right. How did you find that so fast?"
Told you we had a good source.
You're good at our jobs.
Well, gotta tell you. And
Damn
now
it.
he's like relaxes.
Oh,
That is such a good source. I mean,
yeah.
I'll say, best thing about it is I've never known it to be wrong.
well then you keep it and you keep quiet about it, Angela, because I'm glad that you have it. Because at some point I might want to tap into that resource.
Will you let me know if that's the case?
Yeah, sure thing. Now, send Caroline inside.
You want us to go look at this Reginald? I know him. I've seen him.
You know,
When I
I know as well.
I know him. So I was following Caleb when
and he regards you as in, oh, you've been doing this before. Okay, not a
I
problem.
was when Carl was still there. Followed him. It was
Back in the
I
naughty
think
days.
Right. Followed Caleb to a pub in Clifton. Anyway, that night, Clarence turned up to that pub with his child, Reginald. First time. Because given I'd understand it, and I didn't speak to him because I was hanging around outside waiting for Caleb to leave so as I could follow him, see whereabouts he was up to. But he was right about one thing. Blakewell turned up with Clarence. Didn't look like he would do. He didn't look like he'd say boo to a goose. So I think it's reasonable you didn't kill him. Having said that, he'd be easy to set up. Might be as he's been used by someone else. But getting him in here ought to be pretty easy because his sire is one of the refugees, what we looked after back in the day.
Yeah, I know, Clarence. That git is the only gangrel that stayed in the Camarilla. So that makes me believe, and he looks at Matilda, makes me believe that he's not the person who's been doing the whole mind wiping.
No, I don't think he is.
But I'm wondering if you could get all of Reg. I don't know if there's people who can do this in the city or what. But if you get hold of him, maybe someone can take a look at him, see if anyone's done anything to his head.
Yeah.
That's gonna be tricky. Because the specialists of that sort of thing, mostly in the Camarilla life, not all of them.
Yeah.
But maybe you can have a chat with a lad.
Can do. Having a chat with him's easy.
Yeah. And if need be.
Dermot could do it, I guess. Also. They're mates, aren't they? I mean, they're in the same faction and all.
Well, there you go.
In on him.
Yeah. Cool. Excellent. That's your job then. Come back when you get me more news. And that's how you leave the place.
Okay.
He still had he still had some of that pent up rage. As in, he worked himself up to be really convincing, or at least very, I'm not getting a no for an answer. And
I'll try and find these two. I mean, I want no part of his rage. So.
Yeah.
yes, exactly. So
Yeah.
you ask Caroline to get in touch with them. She says that she has sent a message the moment Caleb left. The moment Caleb left, she messaged them. They should be there shortly, which they are a few minutes later. And then you are set to leave.
Right.
Reckon we need a bit of a debrief, all right?
Yeah, we need to talk.
Let's go someplace else, because Teach is a bit mad. Don't do 12 hour anyway, it's a bit mad.
You can go to the HQ.
Yeah.
Sure.
So, back at the old HQ.
Yeah. So Caleb cracked like an egg,
Good.
but it wasn't him. Apparently, it was he sorted it out for a boon from Reginald, who's Clarence's child.
Now that to me don't make no sense, right? You're Caleb, you're
Why
a
would-
child, and this guy's a fledgling. He's less than 6 months, like us. If you're Caleb, why don't you just tell him to fuck off? That's
Wait,
what I
Yeah,
do.
the fledgling.
Why would this child need to hide a body?
That's what ain't clear. According to Caleb, he believes he didn't do nothing, but he was hanging around somewhere he shouldn't have been and came across his body. That's what it sounded like, but it's fair to say Caleb weren't clear on the details.
Matilda, you do think that you have an idea why would Caleb do it? If he's anything like his sire, the type of boon he's holding over him is a life boon.
Okay, all right. I'll then say I imagine what he got from him was the biggest boon he could get.
Right, but he's still a fucking nobody, isn't he?
Yeah, but if he's a
He's not
child
even-
of
He's
child
not-
of a primogen in the long run, like you said before, I mean, Ventures have long memories. They play the long game. I imagine he thinks it's a good investment.
That means, though, if I'm Caleb, I ain't really interested in throwing Reg under the bus, am I?
Yeah, but I mean,
for him to get to that point of where that becomes significant, because at the moment, what I've got is a life boon off a bloke whose life no one gives a toss about, and I.
yeah.
Well, I guess he wasn't expecting it to be led back to him, was he? So,
No.
The
biggest
teacher wants us
reverse
to have a
is
chat with Reg, anyways.
I see.
Yeah.
Thought
Just
you
as-
might be able to facilitate that, Durham.
it's one of the cams, so
Yeah.
see
Can you
what
see
we
if-
can do.
Like me, it's fair to say. So,
Do you know anything about him? What he's like?
well, Clarence,
We know it's
No,
Diane.
Reginald.
I've
best
seen him
in those
once when I was following Caleb. But I didn't speak to him none. It was with his sire.
This is the first time you hear it that clearly. It's like I was following Caleb. Like that the only person that's gonna make some noise is gonna be Dermot. You react however you please, but it's an odd statement to say. Yeah, I saw him when I was following this other guy.
So it seems you got good information, at least. You know.
Me own eyes.
No, as in the
The source.
source. Your source.
Oh yeah, like I said to Teach, the source is never wrong. It's a good source.
Well, that's good then. Kind of nod to Janusz. So
We were blessed that night.
Thing
It's
is,
true.
if you pay the appropriate respects, you get the appropriate information, don't you?
fair enough. As I said, I mean, these things which are beyond understanding sometimes
It's not
turn
beyond
up good.
understanding. It's not beyond understanding. You just got to understand it.
No, I think the question.
You can't understand if it's beyond understanding.
It's not beyond understanding. I understand it.
Yeah, but it can't be
But it's
understood.
not kind of pertinent at the moment. I mean, maybe you'll explain it to me when, another night. But in the meantime, so this Reginald, we need to get to the bottom of that. I mean, I'm just thinking about it. Wasn't Clarence, didn't he stay with you guys?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
me.
Yes, he came from London when things went bad,
Yeah.
very, very badly there. And
Where was the first murder?
It was.
First murder was after they arrived.
yes,
And I said right from the outset they were all bastards and we should have put them in a box and they wouldn't have it off me. Then everything went down. Clarence managed to get himself in with your lot. Yeah. And all of a sudden his child is implicated in this murder. So, just saying, pretty straightforward line there from A to B to C.
seems unlikely that this Reginald is running around decapitating kindred.
Yeah, he's.
Nevertheless, it also seems likely that he will know something. And the question is, what is the best way for us to get him to talk to us?
Can you get out of there, Dermot?
Yeah.
Look, as I said to I'm not a big one in the favor of just getting things out of people's heads. They have
Well,
rights, you know. The
I'm not saying
people.
bring chat to him first. Just saying.
Perhaps we could ask the fella, you know, and say, "What the hell was you doing?"
But none of us know him. It would look really. I mean, there's no
We all
reason
know
for us to have a
Clarence.
chat with him. We know Clarence. We could ask him.
I think.
We could
Sorry,
go through him.
Nangisel, you remember that Clarence and you hold minor boons over each other? Just because I don't
Yes,
I
you're
don't
right.
know if you remembered, but
Yeah.
Clarence and
Yeah.
yourself, you hold minor boons towards one another.
Okay.
So I
Okay.
thought it was good to put it
Yes.
there.
Carlos, just to
Yes.
check. I mean, Reginald is part of the Camarilla.
Yes.
Is there anything that Dermot does know about him? Having perhaps
The only-
encountered or
Well, he has been accounted as per the Camarilla, but he's not been recognized as a neonate. He's a fledgling. He's like, as they said, less than 6 months old. You do know of him because for the first time in ages, there is a gangrel primogen in Bristol after the gangrel and the bruja left the Camarilla. You still have one gangrel. An old neonate, not even close to being an ancilla, Clarence, who is basically a ventru in gangrel blood, who has a child. That's it. That is the extent of the gangrel clan. But, politically speaking, he has a vote in the Primogen Council. Well, Clarence, not Reginald. So you know of him, but I doubt you would know him.
Yeah. So he's not really been around in society at all.
No, they're more polo and rowing clubs and, you know, that sort of varsity kind of. That's why I say they look more like Ventru than anything else, but they're still gangrel.
He's, as far as I can see, he's a bit of a toughen up himself, just like Clarence. Knock off the old block. So chances are, if they're piecing apart, unless we got away. I mean, he's not really being socialized, if you know what I mean. Not being around, so as a result, it's not somebody I can really just call on. And if he's not really released properly, I mean, if he's released, but you know, the chances are his side's going to be looking after him a certain amount, and anything we say to him is going to get back to his side pretty sharpish.
Nope. Me and Clarence owed each other boons, so I could ask Clarence off the back of that.
I mean,
have a chat with Reggie. Remember, Matty, when you made me go and apologise to him for being a twat? When he was the one with the twat?
It all worked out in the end, though, didn't it, Nash?
Seems like a bit of a waste of a boon, if I'm honest. Perhaps you could ask him to have his child do something for you.
Yeah, like rock up here and tell us all that he knows.
We do also have the authority to question him.
I mean, like I said, I got on quite well with Clarence. I mean, we're civil, so perhaps I could just ask him outright.
Worth a
I
try.
mean, no boons involved. It's Carlos. He's not like, he doesn't have any domain or anything, territory. He wouldn't be voting in the election, would he?
Oh, Clarence.
Yeah, Clarence.
Clarence has domain. He's a primogen after all.
And shit! So
he is a
is
primogen.
He voting, then?
He votes, yes, because his domain borders Anarch territory,
Okay.
so he votes.
Valid. Okay, I'd say. Well, I mean, he's voted.
So again, like the relationship you had with Clarence was a good one.
Yeah.
But that was when he was a refugee and you were part of a multi-faction coterie. Now he is the primogen of a clan, and it's been 5 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now he has a child, and he's trying to basically. He has escalated, like gone up many tiers in the last 5 years. So it's going to be a little bit more difficult also for someone like you to get in touch with him.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah,
Like
I mean,
pay him a visit.
Yeah, the boon seems to be a reasonable approach, though, given your knowledge of the laws of Bristol.
I mean, Jan's right though. You have got to speak to us under the laws of our coterie operates, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, it is your boon, Nanjazal. If you wish to use it, then of course that will be helpful. But I do not feel you should need to if you do not wish to. It is not like we are not without other recourse.
That's what I was saying. I mean, you could get them to try and do something for you, and then you'd have a chance to have a talk to him.
That is what I'm proposing. Proposing to get him to have Red turn up here and talk to us. That's what I want him to do.
And I believe what Dermot is suggesting is that you use the boon for something else involving them that will suit you in some way, and that whilst you are speaking to them of that matter, it enables us to also talk to Reginald.
Yeah, I can.
So that you will get
service.
value from the boon at the same time that we will get an opportunity to speak to Reginald. Rather than spending your boon for a chance to speak to what is barely more than a flake.
It's also a bit sus if we ask him to talk to his child. And bear in mind, whilst he's, somewhat released, his child's sins reflect back on him. So it's not always good to sort of let them prepare themselves for such a thing.
And teachers want us to be as subtle as possible. I feel like asking him for something that isn't specifically an audience and then having an audience as a byproduct is probably going to cause the least amount of waves.
All right, I ain't bothered either way. Do whichever way you all like.
Well, I suppose the question is, what would you like Clarence to do for you?
I don't give a shit. You all think something.
Fair enough.
I don't ever want to have to speak to Clarence again. That bloke's a twat. So, if there's any of you wants, then let me know. I guess I can ask him for that.
I mean, quite like a vote.
All right, shall I ask him for that?
Aye.
What about some support in?
Yeah, some support perhaps. The vote might be a bit intense. might not be in minor boon territory.
No, but support, or at least showing some, because he doesn't vote for you.
Yeah.
He doesn't. His domain does not border for BS3.
Yeah.
But he could say, he could put in the good word and provide support. So yes, that is a very valid use of minor boons. Actually, this is a very busy time for boons, because minor boons are given for support or help or information or dirt on opponents. Major boons can go all the way within the faction to buy votes, and of course, life boons are barely used for this. So, major boons buy votes, minor boons buy less, by the way, to votes. But speaking of which, votes are also gained in rallies. And in the tobacco factory after the Coterie, because I feel that the conversation was sort of like, now it's a conversation about how do we go about it, how do we talk to him, but you already have an idea. We're going to ask for support for Matilda. That's the excuse. He will come with his child. We'll have a word with Reginald while Clarence is distracted. So it is the perfect opportunity to invite Clarence and Reginald to this rally in the BS3 area. So a few days pass, and that Saturday, the tobacco factory is filled with lights and music by DJ O'Shea. Kindred of the area show up, including Felicity, who of course is with her supporters scouting the competition. Clarence and Reginald do show up. The event is very well put together.
I'll say thank you to Squid and
Squid and it was Audrey, Squid, and Dermot, the three. Like Squid is the organizer. Dermot is Squid is the organizer. Audrey is the financial muscle, and Dermot, through his agent, put everything for DJ O'Shea, sort of a covers band that went like a sort of a, how do you call it, act?
Like a tribute?
A tribute band, the ambient music, the lighting, so between the three of them, they did it, and Squid feels super proud of himself.
I'll go and give him a big hug. And
now my question is, will Janusz be at the soiree as well, the question is also for Nan Giselle. Will you both be attending Matilda's campaign rally party?
I mean, I assume if they're wanting to speak to Reginald, I have to be there because I'm occupying Clarence. Is that right?
That's a good way.
Yeah.
Yes. You could ask your... Yes.
I mean, I think she'll go anyway.
Yeah.
But
But it's
I
a
think
good
we're
front.
like,
Yeah, it's a good excuse. It's like, hey, I came here. I'm going to
Yeah.
ask you to use the boon you owe me. Give her support. And
Yeah.
Janis?
Well, I think if Matilda has invited him, and if this is Dermot saying, hey, why don't you come and listen to my music like you promised, then he will be there. Yeah.
Well, that is excellent news then. And then that is how we're going to start episode 9 next week. Oh, the episode in which we also have the vote. Also, the vote. Yes, you, my beautiful ghouls, will have a chance to vote next week. So, yes, that's why I timed it so. So the ghouls had a say on what happens in the world. And if you want to also have a say in what happens in Blood on the Severn, make sure to support us and go to Patreon. And if not, just go to the Discord and talk to everybody and convince them to vote for your options. So that's where we're going to wrap things for tonight. Thank you very much to my players for a wonderful session.
Thank you, Carl.
You.
Thank you to our wonderful supporters and our viewers and listeners. And we will see you next week for episode 9 of Blood on the Severn, second season. Woohoo! Take care. Until next Monday. Bye.
Okay.
Bye.